Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to my Dune Awakening survival MMO content. So today folks, I want to talk about some of the reasons why I'm really excited about this game. For one thing, I'm the type of person that loves a good survival MMO. I have a history of playing Ark Survival Evolved and Ark Survival Ascended for about almost the last 10 years. So I'm somebody that's very familiar with the survival style of MMO type game. This is a blending of the two though, and I'm also somebody who loves a good MMO RPG. I've played a lot of those in the past. Just too many to list, and I'm the type of guy that loves both game styles, and this seems to be a really good meshing of the two, and that's one of the reasons why I'm really excited about Dune Awakening, other than the fact that it just looks freaking awesome. So I want to talk about some of the reasons why I like this game. I want to look at the official website and talk through their talking points that they have available on the game, and kind of throw in some commentary on these things as we go through them. They say Dune Awakening is an open world multiplayer survival game on a massive scale. So in this game, you have your basic survival game elements where you try to survive against the elements, survive against the monsters, survive against the people. So you have PvE and PvP gameplay styles. So that's one of the things that makes this interesting, and it's on a multiplayer scale. So it's not a game that's going to get stale and old and boring, because you don't have anybody to interact with. You're going to have plenty of people to interact with. This is a huge IP, and it's made by a company that knows what they're doing, Funcom. Funcom has made a lot of games in the past, but they're one of their best ones to kind of look at when you're thinking about, can Funcom pull this off in a survival MMO type style, is Conan. Conan was a really fun game, and it was kind of underrated, honestly, in my opinion. I'm somebody that played Ark Survival Evolved and Ascended for almost 10 years, but I did dabble into Conan as well, because Conan was super fun. It had a lot of cool things about it that made it really cool, and I had a great time with my friends in that game on private servers, and just every other version of it that could be played, I played it, and it was really fun. So I know that Funcom has the ability to pull this off. I really do, and I feel good about it. More than just survival, Dune Awakening offers a large-scale, persistent, and highly immersive world with social hubs bustling with other players, server-wide politics and intrigue, and a cinematic storyline that will leave you at the edge of your seat. Well, just the fact that Dune offers the large-scale, persistent world with the social hubs and things like the auction house and ways to interact with other players via guilds, and the interaction that you'll have with PvE and PvP content, makes this one a winner in my opinion. Because like I said, I don't want a game that's going to get boring because I'm playing all alone, and I know that the people that I'm interacting with in game are just NPCs and they don't have any real life, so it doesn't feel the same as actually playing a game with other people. Yes, it can bring out the worst in people sometimes for sure, but it can also be the most rewarding experience that you can have in these type of games as well. The Fremen have vanished. Paul Atreides was never born. Lady Jessica obeyed the Bene Gesserit and gave birth to a girl. Duke Leto Atreides survived the assault on Arrakis and is now locked in brutal conflict with the Harkonnen over Arrakis and its precious spice. So the game is going to be initially set on Arrakis. It's going to be a hostile world, but it's familiar and it's iconic in the lore. It's the battle between the Atreides and the Harkonnen, and then there's going to be another faction released later. They still haven't released the details on this, but it's going to kind of be a third faction balancing out type of thing. If a lot of people played MMO type games in the past, like Camelot Unchained, and just all kinds of other different games like that, there was always this 3-faction system that kind of kept everything in check. When you had just 2, or you had an even number of factions in game that players could be a part of, it just didn't work out as well as you do when you have 3, because they seem to keep each other in check. When one rises to too much power, the other 2 band together against them and put them back in their place, type of thing. So that's really the most interesting system that I've ever seen develop, is a 3-faction system like that. So alone, with friends, or any of the 100 players you share Arrakis with, can you survive the most dangerous planet in the universe? We'll see. I personally am planning on coming at this game with a solo player mindset, because that's how I usually always do it as far as the resources and the items that I have and collect. Now, I like the interaction with other people, but I don't necessarily want other people having access to my resources and my items and my loot and my blueprints and all that kind of stuff, because honestly, I guess it's just my history in the past with Ark and being in guilds and being incited and having people do, really evil things like stealing all your stuff and stealing all your dinos and kicking everybody in your guild, and just all those kind of things just left such a bad taste in my mouth that I really want to focus on just playing solo as far as the acquisition of loot and things like that. And then if there's content that I need to group up with to do, then I have a select group of friends that I know in real life that I'm going to play with, that I can trust to be able to form those tight-knit groups with. And that's kind of the mindset I'm going into this with. Most of the content that I'm going to make going forward is going to be from that mindset of playing as a solo player and trying to figure out a way to be relevant. In a lot of games I make content on, like some mobile games in the past that I've made a lot of content on, like Game of Thrones Legends, Puzzle Quest 3, games like Call of Dragons, things like that. I've tried to come at that with a free-to-play player mindset so that I could see if I could be successful as a free-to-play player and not spend a lot of money. But with this, I don't have to worry about that, because there's no real microtransactions or buy-to-play or pay-to-play type of thing in this game. So it's more like, can I be relevant as a solo player and find ways to be efficient with my gathering, find ways to utilize techniques in gathering that will allow me to gather a lot more than other people, so that I can then use that stuff on the auction house, flipping things on the auction house and making a profit with my knowledge of economy and things of that nature. I find fascinating and I find really interesting, and I want to try those things. Plus, there's going to be that element, that heart-pumping element of sneaking into the PvP zone to try to get my hands on some spice, and can I get out alive type of thing, That's going to be fun, really fun in and of itself. But that's the mindset that I'm coming at this about. You're going to survive by learning the ways of the Fremen, seek the shadows to escape the scorching sun, craft still suits and extract water from your enemies to stay hydrated, build shelters to escape lethal sandstorms, and always be aware of Shai Halud, the sandworm. Explore a vast open world of beauty and danger. Glide, climb, and speed across Arrakis using iconic Dune tech such as ornithopters and suspensor belts. Visit the hubs of Arrakis and Harko village, bustling with other players to socialize and trade with. Discover a shifting desert that offers infinite exploration. Coriolis storms reshape the deep desert, turning familiar grounds into treacherous unknown territory. And this is one of the coolest things I like about this game. Every week, players race to be the first to uncover new locations, dangers, and rewards, because the area that's known as the Deep Desert, where the PvP happens and a lot of your high-end rewards are located, it basically resets every week because the sandstorm wipes the landscape and reforms it and reshapes it, and things are always in a different location every week. That is super cool. That is one of the most innovative things I've seen in an MMO to date, and I think that that is going to be refreshing and so cool. So that is one of the things that I'm looking forward to. I'm not the type of person that shies away from a little PvP. I don't mind that at all. But that's not going to be my mindset of going into this game as a rabid PvPer, that all I want to do is just fight and kill people. I'm not really interested in that. I'm more interested in resource gathering, exploration, using those items on the market, flipping items on the market, using the economy, building bases, things of that nature. I'm more interested in that. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. But I don't mind a little PvP here and there, and I'm going to be looking for ways to turn that to my advantage in the deep desert when I'm trying to look to get my hands on some of that really good resources and loot. On Arrakis, we need to cultivate desert power, Duke Leto said. It's a sandbox. Combat allows you to approach every situation differently using a wide arsenal of ranged and melee weapons, technology, abilities, and even vehicles. From humble beginnings to unthinkable strength, every step fuels your rise to greatness. So for some of the things that I've been seeing in the actual play videos that I've been able to watch so far, the combat is, on par with other MMOs. It's just a slight bit janky here and there, but the depth of customization of combat that you have, whether it's melee, ranged, shields, AoE, whatever, it's really interesting looking, and I'm liking the approach to the skills that you have so that you can kind of change yourself on the fly type of thing based on the situation that you're going to encounter once you unlock all those different skill paths. So master one or all of the great schools of the Imperium: the Bene Gesserit, the Trooper, the Mentat, the Swordmaster, Planetologist. Use manipulation and trickery, poison and grenades, dart rifles and crisp knives, and remember the slow blade penetrates the shield. So it's basically, one size doesn't fit all type of approach, to where you can change yourself at a moment's notice by switching skills and do different things based on the situation that you're encountering, and that's super cool. I like that ability for sure, because I want to have flexibility in my gameplay, so this sounds really good to me. Spice is the most valuable resource in the universe. Control trade and consume it to unshackle your potential and fuel new powers. Rise from a nameless survivor to ultimately summon the desert's greatest force, the sandworm Shai Hulud himself. So cool. This is my desert, my Arrakis, my Dune, Baron Vladimir Harkonnen said. Create a persona as unique as your ambitions. Craft anything from Fremen still suits to Harkonnen ornithopters and fine Atreides furniture. Customize endlessly with emotes, transmog systems, and swatches that let you stand out in the desert. I love transmog. I'm glad to see that's in the game, because I like to be able to change things to suit what mood I'm in. So having the ability to customize vehicles, customize technology, mods, modding of different vehicles with different mod packs and stuff like that is going to be super cool. I'm all about that. Crafting is always something that's very, very important to me in games, and I love that kind of thing. So I'm really interested in hearing about that. Uncover the truth behind the Fremen's disappearance. As you survive, explore, and build your way to power on Arrakis, you will unravel an engaging storyline unlike anything seen in a multiplayer survival game before. So, the questing system that you're going to unlock the story of the game is always going to be something you can fall back on for interesting things to do and to expand your character and build your level base and all that kind of stuff, and expand your skills. That's always going to be fun to interact with the story and see what surprises they put in the game for us. Build anything from a temporary encampment to an impenetrable fortress with a robust, flexible building system. Yes. Convert your buildings into blueprints that you can sell to other players on the server-wide exchange, along with anything you harvest and produce. This is super cool, I'm just going to say, because coming from a game like Ark, I have always been a builder. And it's always been something that I have been fascinated with. I've always found ways to make some of the most unique builds on any server that I've played on. So the ability to build a blueprint that I can then tell, players in game, if you want to see this live, come to, XY coordinates and see my base and then buy my blueprint type of thing. That is so cool to have that ability to be able to do that. So that's one of the things that I'm really looking forward to do, because I'm going to do like this guy in this picture, and I'm going to build this crazy, awesome, intricate looking base that I'm then going to hope to sell copies of the blueprint to other people, because I think that is just so fascinating. So yeah, that's going to be something I definitely dive into 100%, because I'm a builder at heart. Climb up and rise, you're one of us now. A life for a life, Stilgar said. Unite or compete with other survivors, or choose to play alone. Dune Awakening features a highly immersive and persistent online world shared with thousands of other characters, several hundred people playing concurrently. PvP is always optional. I love that. I love the sound of that, because that sounds like the gameplay that I want. I want to be able to do my own thing whenever I feel like doing my own thing. I want to be able to find creative ways to, make myself relevant in a game full of thousands of players. That's always something I find interesting. And then when I'm in the mood for PvP, I want PvP, and when I'm not, I don't. So I like the flexibility of that. Plus the fact that I'm going into this with what I said is like the solo mentality to make content on the game around. I want to make content that helps other people find ways to be relevant in this game without having to be part of a massive alpha tribe, type thing. I want to be that guy that gives the alpha tribes fits, because I'm doing better on the auction house than they are with my one guy mentality, So yeah, that's something I'm really looking forward to. Group up with other players to delve into ancient ecology labs, collaborate creatively using the robust co-op building system, or simply visit the Arrakis and Harko village social hubs to grab a drink or trade on the exchange. Having those social hubs are really cool, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the nonsense that goes on in those, because when players group up together, they're always doing funny stuff. Lead or follow, the choice is yours. Join or create a guild, swear allegiance to the Atreides or the Harkonnen, and work together to secure their power in the server-wide Landsrod, whose decrees impact every player on the server. This right here is going to be interesting. As a solo player, I don't know that I'm going to have a lot of sway in developing server-wide policies via the Landsrod. I think that's going to be something more for more organized, bigger groups of players that be able to turn in massive amounts of quests to earn faction, or complete a certain amount of objectives on the server to secure control of the governing body. But I don't really see myself as a solo player as being integral in that. But I'm interested to see what it's all about, because it's neat to watch it take shape and watch other people fight for that while I'm sneaking around getting my spice. I'm going to enjoy that. It's not that power corrupts, but that it's magnetic to the corruptible. So we're going to rise to power through the ranks of the Atreides or the Harkonnen. As you build your reputation with your great house, you will access unique faction rewards such as equipment, vehicles, and building pieces. Ultimately, you can pledge your entire guild to their cause. So this is really cool. I love faction-based play. I love finding a faction that I'm interested in game and then working to secure goals for that faction, then getting the rewards of special types of technology, special types of vehicles, special types of weapons. Those kind of things are really, I love that. Ever since my days in Skyrim is where I kind of was introduced to that kind of faction-based gameplay on a serious note. I've loved it ever since, so that's very cool. I still haven't made up my mind to Atreides or Harkonnen yet. It's such a tough decision because it's both have so much appeal that I can't decide what I'm gonna point myself towards. But I think it's beneficial to point yourself to one or the other so that you can, have the ultimate reward in mind as far as your faction is concerned. Control the spice and you control Arrakis. The ever-shifting sands of the deep desert offers not only infinite exploration but also infinite rewards. Here, players, guilds, and the great houses battle over massive spice blows to fuel their finance and their ambition. PvP is always optional. Participate in major ground and air battles in the deep desert or support the efforts from behind the front lines through PvE activities like crafting to secure power in the lance rod. Play politics and make decisions that impact the whole server. That's super cool, and that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Can't wait to see the deep desert because that's going to be the most exciting thing for me in the game as a solo type mindset player. I am going to have a group of friends that when I need to group up and do content together, I have people I can trust to do that with. Or if I want to take a small group into the deep desert to watch each other's backs, that will be cool. But one of the things that's really going to get my heart pumping and give me that extra little excitement about the game is going to be that solo guy. Can he sneak into hostile territory, get those resources, and get out alive? That's going to make some interesting content, and I think that's really going to be something that sets my channel apart from a lot of others that are making content on Dune Awakening. So I really hope that you'll join me in this effort. Right now you can pre-order and you can wish list it on Steam. I am currently pre-ordered and I bought the ultimate package because I want the head start. I want all the good gear, the still suit, and all the swatches and all the cool stuff. So I would suggest maybe you think about what's best for you, but you can see it on Steam, on their page on Steam where you can wish list it and then decide, which package you want to pre-order. So I would suggest you give that some thought because it will affect your gameplay, and especially if you get in game 5 days early, that could be a huge advantage to a lot of people, especially if you're somebody that's really, really into the PvP mindset. That's going to be huge for you guys to get that head start and get out there fully geared in the desert from when all the noobs start running across the sands. That's going to be brutal. But anyway, all right, thank you for watching my content today. I truly appreciate you being here. This is just a little video to kind of kickstart my Dune Awakening content, to kind of let people that know me and that follow my channel already kind of understand where I'm coming from with the way I'm planning on playing this game and kind of what to expect with Dune Awakening, so that hopefully some of them that are currently in my houses and in my guilds that I currently run in other games will consider playing this with me and we can have a really good time. So appreciate you watching my content. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in another video about Dune Awakening coming soon. Peace.